Giants ringing the bell here at the New York Stock Exchange. The 2024 NFL season is underway, and the Giants kick off their 100th NFL season. And we are joined by one of the all-time great Giants this morning here at the Exchange. Super Bowl champ, Pro Bowl wide receiver, golfer, businessman, broadcaster, I think still salsa dancer, Victor Cruz. Are you still?
Of course, it's in the blood.
Am I screwing this up?
No,
My son's going to kill me.
Shoulders a little high, but you're good.
Oh,
you're
shoulders
good.
are high,
Yeah,
so
relax. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, he's going to tell me that I'm awful for doing that. Okay, before we get into the Giants, let's talk a little bit about last night. Chiefs, Ravens. Ravens score what appeared to be a game-tying touchdown out by a toe. Big takeaways. Are the Chiefs going to three-peat as Super Bowl champs?
I think they got a chance. I think when you look at the team and you see what they put out there last night, I think they still have that continuity that we know and love. A few new faces. Obviously, Worthy getting in the end zone a couple times is very, very huge for them. He's a guy that can push the ball downfield, and defenses now have to respect his speed and what he can do. Kelsey's Kelsey, Mr. Consistent on that football team, and Mahomes still looks like he's making plays all over the field. But I like the Ravens too. I think they showed some moxie coming back at the end there. I think, they understand what's asked of them week in and week out, and Lamar Jackson is one of the best players in the league.
Lamar missed a wide open wide receiver in the end zone there that either tied it or won it. As a former player, do you tire of the Taylor Swift narrative, or do you love it?
I love it. I don't care. As long as there's energy being brought to football. I just love how they chronicle her entrance every time she's coming in. And she was like, I'm like, is she performing tonight? I can't tell whether she's performing or just visiting the game and hanging out. But I love the energy. It's all good.
Favorite Taylor Swift song? Can you name one?
I cannot name it.
Cannot name a Taylor Swift song.
I got to get my daughter in here for that, but I don't know.
I think you have a 12-year-old, right?
Correct. Yes.
So you should know. You should know the entire catalog.
I should know something.
Just always say "Shake It Off." You can always just go by default.
I think I know that one.
You would know that.
Okay, gotcha.
You would.
Okay.
You would also know the name Malik Neighbors. He is the Giants wide receiver rookie who will wear the number 1 for the first time since like the 1930s. They unretired this number, and they're already putting this guy in the Hall of Fame. What are you seeing from Neighbors?
I see a lot of positivity. I see a lot of good things. I see a guy that can run every route in the book. I see a guy that has some energy, that has a little bit of chip on his shoulder, a little edge to him, which you need at that position. And I just see a dog, like a guy that can really put the team on his back. And we know now how important the wide receiver position is for quarterbacks nowadays, and how much they can change the complexity of a football game. And I think Malik Neighbors is one of those guys that can change a game with one big play and one energy, which I know a little something about as well.
Yes, you do. Is that what Daniel Jones, the quarterback, needed? He has struggled mightily with the turnovers, looked like he had cut down on them, and then 6 games before getting hurt last year. Can he ever take the next step, or is he just a guy?
I think he can. I think for the first time ever offensively, he has the most weapons around him than he's had in years past. And I think he's building some continuity with those guys. I went and visited a bunch of training camp practices, and he looks comfortable. He looks comfortable out there. And you can tell when a guy's kind of been behind the 8 ball a couple years, and he knows this is like a make or break kind of season for him, it provides a certain chip on the shoulder that he has to go out there, and you can kind of see his leadership kind of coming to the top a little bit this year.
Who's the best team in New York?
Come on, that's not even a question.
It's not a question.
I mean, I'm always going to say the New York Giants, no matter what.
But as a broadcaster, which you are for TNT now.
Correct. I do understand that the Jets are much improved, and I think a lot of it is the onus on Aaron Rodgers and what his health is and what he can bring to that team. Defensively, they're stacked. So I think, yes, I think they have a chance to do some really good things. I'm just happy they're in the AFC and not in the NFC, so we don't have to see them, and it doesn't have any pertinence to our scheduling. But I'm happy for Aaron specifically to see him back out there healthy, galvanizing that team, and I think they're going to do some good things this year.
So if you're a betting man, you think the Giants win more football games than the Jets? I'm putting you on the spot.
If I'm a betting man, no. I'm smarter with my money in terms of betting, obviously. I'm going to bank on Aaron Rodgers, one of the best quarterbacks to ever play, doing some positivity and doing some good things with that New York Jets team, especially with the wide receiving core and the pass catchers that's built around them.
100th NFL season for the Giants. What's on tap as you guys celebrate the history?
Oh, man, there's so much. Obviously, today we're ringing the bell here at the New York Stock Exchange. We got Fan Fest tonight, getting ready to meet a lot of the fans and bring some energy before week 1. And then Sunday, we're doing a bunch of things before the game. We're honoring the 100 players. We're honoring a bunch of guys that are going to be at the game. So I'll be there. That'll be fun. Some pregame stuff that's going to be happening out there on the field as well. So a lot of stuff I don't even know. They just drag me out there and say, hey, we need you to come do some stuff for our 100-year anniversary. And I, of course, say yes.
What was it like ringing the bell here at the Exchange?
It's incredible. I was here once before and done it, but this year was a little different with the New York Giants family, John Mara, our owner up there, and just it's a little different energy up there this time around than the last, but it's always special to come to New York. It's such a part of the fabric here, and to do that with this football team is pretty cool.
All right, a couple other NFL storylines. Jamar Chase is certainly one of them, one of the great NFL wide receivers, top 2 or 3. He has 2 years left on his deal, and yet he is at least appearing to threaten to not play. Look, again, as a former player, but as a broadcaster, does it drive you nuts that a guy has earned the money, but 2 years left on his deal? Shouldn't he honor it?
Yeah, it's interesting to me. I think you play until you feel underpaid. And I think if you look at the numbers, if you look at what he's done in this league already to date, he's a bit underpaid. And then I'm sure he's looking at his peers, right? Some of the peers he's come in with that have gotten paid, that have been able to take care of their families, that have gotten the payday that they're looking for. He's kind of sitting back and saying, hey, if you look at this roster from a receiver perception, you guys need me. So it's either you can pay me now, we can prorate it. And look, there's different ways to do it, right? They can pay him now, he'll get new money after year 2 or year 3. Like they can give him a signing bonus up front and give him new money in year 3, so he's still under that contract, so to speak, so he doesn't hurt the cap as much. So there's different ways to kind of get to where they're looking for, and let's hope they can reach it.
Yeah, he wants to be paid like Justin Jefferson and CD Lamb, which he arguably should be. Do you play fantasy football?
I do play a little bit, yeah.
You do?
Yeah, absolutely.
Who are you banking on this year?
Oh, man, so I drafted...
Hopefully not Jamar, because I drafted him.
I drafted Aaron Rodgers, so I hope he's going to come through for me, okay? I had to pick him. I like what he's doing with the team.
Giants great drafted the Jets
this is
quarterback?
Fantasy. This has nothing to do with my Giants fandom and where I'm, my roots as a Giants fan. This is strictly business here on the fantasy football front, okay? But I need him. But I had Likely last night, so he got me some good points.
He got some great points and almost broke the bank with that game-winning touchdown. All right, one of the other big storylines is Tom Brady in the booth. Tom's clearly the GOAT. Do you think he'll be a great broadcaster? He's never been a very open, honest, insightful guy because he's always been reserved when he speaks into the microphone.
Yeah, I think he's got to pull that veil up a little bit. I think he's got to give us more personality. I think he's got to give us, we want to get into that mind, right? Like we want to know what he's thinking. I think Tony Romo does such a good job of letting us into the mind of a quarterback, into the mind of head coaches, and into the football team. Like he's almost predicting plays before they happen. He's almost like a genie to some of these plays. But we need to see what Tom Brady can bring to the booth. And I love Greg Olsen, Jersey guy. Like he's got some big shoes to fill over there. So I'm excited to see what he brings to the booth and what energy he brings to the table.
I want to see him be critical of guys on the field. It feels like he's scared to do so. One of the unlikely TV stars in broadcasting is your former quarterback, Eli Manning, who nobody would have figured. How surprised are you that he's become a TV star?
I'm not surprised at all. Mainly because I've seen that side. Like we see it.
We didn't see.
You guys hadn't seen it, but I see that side of Eli all day long. I see it from him, whether it's on the golf course or in the locker rooms or all those moments that people don't see is when Eli's letting his hair down a little bit and being funny and being that character that you guys see on TV now. The best is his commercials. I think the commercials are incredible. There were a couple that aired last night, obviously in the first game of the season, and the Corona one is incredible. I mean, they're all great, and he's just such a character, and I'm excited that people are starting to see that side of him now that he's retired.
All right, for those that follow Victor on Instagram, if you don't, you should. You know his golf game is on par. Who's the best former Giant golfer? Do you hold that title?
I wish I held that title. I'm up there, but I'm going to go with Eli's up there. I think Lawrence Tynes is up there. He's a pretty good player. Zach Diassi's pretty good. I'm playing with Sean O'Hara next week. He's pretty solid. So if I had to pick one, I'm going to go with Zach Diassi because I heard he's won the member down at Somerset Hills a couple times. So I'm going with Zach and his dad, Steve.
All right, final question. I know Happy Gilmore is your favorite sports movie, part 2 coming out. How excited are you for that? And could a former football player become a golfer maybe in part 3?
Yeah, I don't see why not. I love Happy Gilmore. I heard they're filming some of the parts in some golf courses in New Jersey. Guys, I'm local. Find me. I'm here. I can swim. I can bring my own clubs. You guys don't need to bring props. I have my own stuff. Call me. So I think an NFL player can. I think an NBA player can. I mean, you look at guys like Steph Curry. You look at guys out there in football that can do it. I mean, Eric Ebron is a guy that I look at that's a pretty good golfer as well. So, like, I think it can be done. We'll see. I mean, it's only a matter of time before someone that's played a different sport can maybe break into the PGA Tour or even the Senior Tour down the line.
He's got to get a role here in Happy Gilmore 2. Let's
Talk
go.
to me, guys. Somebody
Let's go.
call me. Call my
He's
agent.
a Super Bowl champ. He's a Pro Bowl wide receiver, one of the all-time great Giants as they start their 100th season. Great to have you here, Victor
Thank you, baby.
Cruz.